Want a $1,000 weight loss medication for $50? It all starts with Roe's free GLP-1 insurance check. Just upload your insurance card to see if you have coverage, then relax. Over 200,000 people have qualified for a $50 copay through Roe. Go to roe.co/health. Half of covered patients have a $50 per month copay or less for medication, plus $145 monthly Roe membership fee. Deductible cost may apply and final cost varies by insurance plan. For safety information about GLP-1 medications, including boxed warning, go to roe.co/safety, RX only.
Start the spring season off right with a new pair of Tecovas Western boots. Handcrafted and over 200 steps from genuine leather, they're built to last and feel broken in the moment you put them on. From cowhide to exotic leathers, Tecovas blends timeless style with all-day comfort. Pair them with premium denim, Western shirts, and accessories for an effortless, polished look. Shop quality Western goods in-store or online at tecovas.com.
Crystal, you're a Frank Sinatra fan. I know you are.
A who?
You know, Chicago, it's my kind of town.
You know why it is my kind of town. I was actually born and raised on the beautiful south side of Chicago.
It is hometown. I lived about 3 hours away in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And I remember the first time we went to Chicago, and you're going just past Gary, Indiana, and you look and you get these glimpses of the lake and you can see the buildings way in the distance.
Beautiful.
And I remember getting so excited the first time I saw the skyline. I was like, this is Oz. This is amazing.
And you know what? Chicago for granted sometimes too.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Chicago is amazing.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Tell me more. We're going to tell you more.
Well, from deep dish pizza to what we'll always call the Sears Tower, no matter what they name it, damn it. Chicago has lots to explore. Crystal is a hometowner, and I've been to Chicago so many times as an outsider. Though we are going to cover our top 5 tips for your trip to this beautiful city if your first time on the shores of Lake Michigan, and that's on today's show.
All right. And at the end of this episode and every episode, you'll hear our gear of the day pick. So if you're looking for best in class gear that's worth the price, head to our Amazon page at stackingadventures.com/gear of the day or GOTD. You'll help the show and you'll help yourself adventure better and for less money.
What's it time for us to do, Crystal?
Get this show on the road.
Ready for adventure? From vacation to staycation, and from the mountains to the beach. This is the Stacking Adventures podcast.
Welcome back, adventurers, to the Stacking Adventures podcast. Every adventure has a story, and today it's Crystal's story and my story, because we LOVE Chicago.
Yeah, heart.
And man, Crystal, I know you were born and raised there, so you've got this Homer mentality. But still, you've been to a lot of different cities. Chicago's hard not to love.
Yeah, it's the people. It's always the people first. I don't know how we have a like the Southern charm in Chicago, and sometimes you'll hear it called Chicago. You got to hold on to that A.
Chicago.
Yes, you hold on to that A. So it's home. Home is where the heart is. My heart will always be in Chicago, and I don't know. I do like looking at the skyline from wherever. Airplane, Lakeshore Drive, it's just, you get that feeling.
It is funny because it's a big city, huge population. However, it really has a small town, to me, a small city feel. It does not feel huge. Maybe, I don't know if it's because I've been there so much, but while it is a sprawling city, it just doesn't feel like it. It feels very, very small, very homey.
Agreed. And I like how everyone says hello. There's other cities, towns, countries I've been in, and it's so funny. I'd say hello. Like if I'm, close enough to give eye contact, I'm going to say hello. And I remember one guy, where were we? Somewhere in Europe somewhere. He's like, why would I speak to her? I don't know her. And I'm like, you're just being polite saying hello. I thought it was really funny.
Crystal's like, it's because I'm a Midwesterner, damn it.
Exactly.
And that's what we do.
That's what we do. We're invasive.
And it's funny because you and I both, we get a little offended when people don't say hello. We're like, oh, what's up with them? So funny. And they get offended that we do. So there you go.
That's true. That's both
all right.
ways.
Crystal and I have both prepped a top 5 list. And Crystal, I know you told me before we hit record, you've got way more than 5. And so do I.
Way more than 5. I don't even There's no way to narrow it down.
No. So we're going to have a long list of honorable mentions after the top 5. But if you're really, really going to Chicago for the first time, I think taking Crystal's insider tips and my tips from a guy who's seen a ton of Chicago, from the burbs to a ton of downtown experiences and fun. I think, Crystal, you and I can help people put together a fantastic first time in Chicago that will be amazing.
Yes, I agree. All right, let's get
You
to it.
ready?
So, yeah,
All
so
right.
we're gonna
You're
start at
you're
our
number 5.
number 5. All right. So I want you to have experiences of, you won't get this anywhere else. It's so hard to, I don't know how you put these in any kind of order.
Oh, I
I always
definitely have a number 1.
tell,
You're right.
okay, I
Okay,
do.
so my number 5 is clearly number 5, and I think you'll agree that you should do it, but it's number 5. 4, 3, and 2 for me are interchangeable. But then number 1
Okay.
for me is definitely number 1.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. All right. My number 5, you've got to go to the museums. So my number 5 is a groupish kinda. The Adler Planetarium is just the location is beautiful. It's right on the water. So if you find yourself in that area, that's gonna open you up to a whole bunch of other things to do. But the Adler Planetarium, the Chicago Art Institute, like these are like you've seen those two big lions. That's something you've seen in a movie if Chicago's featured. So you want to hit those landmarks, and while you're there, you'll get to see the lake. You'll get to see so many things, and of course, art and the planetarium, so and the museum. So these are things you should make time for, even if you just go in, peep in, and then come back out. But you gotta say you stepped foot on, especially the planetarium and the shed
The
aquarium
The
too.
planetarium and Shed Aquarium, to your point, are actually out on it's not a pier, but it's like a peninsula
Yeah, it's
that
it's
goes out
out.
into the water.
Yep.
And so the planetarium is right at the end, at the fingernail, right at the end. I've never been in the planetarium though. I've never been
Ah.
in, I've never done it. It's a good time, huh?
Yeah, oh yeah, see, and as a kid, obviously, we used to go for field trips, and
Sure.
it was hilarious because we would pack our lunches because you would see, like, the McDonald's in there, a Happy Meal would be, like, $10 when it's normally, like, back then, $3. So, of course, it's museum pricing for food, so definitely snack accordingly or, pack snacks accordingly, but yeah, you wanna see these really, really cool and even the adventure is just in getting there. 'Cause like Joe said, it's way out on that pier, so just walking out along the water to that pier area, it's magnificent views before you even
It's
get inside.
so beautiful. And that area, to your point, you talk about all the things on one end of the park, closer to the city, is the Art Institute, which is amazing. That didn't make my top 5, by the way,
Mhm.
because I do have some stuff. I actually broke up the museums, and I'm going to ask you for
Ah,
advice, which ones to go to and which ones if you're going, because you're not going to have time to go to them all. There's so many, and they're so
no.
awesome. But in this area, on one end of this big, huge park, used to be called Grant Park, but I think it's called Millennium Park now, isn't it?
Right, yep. Is that your
Um, the Art Institute is on one end. You could spend all day there. But then on the other side of the park, out by the water, to Crystal's point, you've got the Museum of Natural History, which is known for a big Tyrannosaurus Rex that they call
Sue?
Sue. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's either the Hope Diamond or a replica of the Hope Diamond in that museum, which is
Ah,
fascinating.
didn't know that.
So a lot of gems, a lot of cool walk through history, through the history of the world. That's really fun at the Natural History Museum, and then Shed
I
Aquarium,
love
which has
that.
got to be one of the top aquariums in the world, not even in the United States.
Wow, I didn't know that it was one of the top. Because I normally don't go to aquariums also when I go. I know last time in Atlanta I was gonna go and it was like $80. I'm like, okay, no, thank you. So that's another thing to take into account. Some of the museums have timed entry passes, but you've heard us say this. Go to the app, like go to their website and see if you can get as much information beforehand as possible for getting in, like for getting tickets too. And Soldier Field is down by the Field Museum also.
We
Heard
took
about
that's where
that.
the Chicago Bears play.
Yeah.
It
On
totally now
Raggedy
looks like a
Field.
superhero, uh, like the Justice League lives there now. It's got this really funky look. But of all of those, Crystal, I don't think you're going to spend your first trip to Chicago and go to the planetarium, the Museum of Natural History, Shed Aquarium,
Right.
and the Art Institute. Like, tell us which one you go to on your first trip, or do you go to any of those? Maybe go to a different museum.
That's a good question. I like the Shed Aquarium Planetarium because you can hit them both at the same time. Because I want you like a honorable mention because I want you to get on that Lakeshore Drive. Like I want you on that lakefront trail too.
Oh, that's interesting. That was an honorable mention for me. Bicycle, if you have a
Yeah,
way to either rent a bike or bring your bike,
have
it's a
plenty.
wonderful walking/bike trail. There's all kinds of people up there walking from the south end of the city all the way up
Indiana,
to oh yeah,
Wisconsin. Yeah.
all the way up to what they call the Gold Coast, which
Yep.
is beautiful high-end condominiums up there. You can take it for a long, long way, but that is well worth doing. And that's an honorable mention for me too. Bicycle the trail up
I
the
wanna
coast.
say it's like 80 miles or so. There was 3 girls that walked the whole thing. They logged it on Instagram, so I watched it. It was pretty cute that it
That'd be super fun,
rained,
wouldn't it?
poured, all that fun stuff
Oh my
happened.
God. No, that wouldn't be fun.
Thanks.
But anyway, you have any, so you said planetarium and shed
Shed
aquarium you would
aquarium.
do. That
Yeah.
must be the shed aquarium takes a long, long time if you're going to really do it right. So is the planetarium a short experience?
It's shorter compared to the,
Maybe like an hour or
aquarium.
yeah.
I would s but it also depends because if you're there to see the inside of a place, if it's super hot or, weather, definitely plan on doing something like that because you can spend the whole day there, um, in
Yeah.
case of, you're not there to get
And
other.
it's worth it. I mean, the Shed Aquarium,
Yeah.
spending a day at the Shed Aquarium is totally worth it. Rushing it does not pay dividends. Like just to check it off your list, you really want to dig in because this thing, after they added maybe 20 years ago, they added a whole area that you feel almost like you're outside, and it's this whole ecosystem area that you've got all kinds of different seals and walruses and dolphins. You might hear that one from me also later on. All right. My number 5 is, and I think this is great just to get a feel of the city. For people that are in the know and that know Chicago, it is not really the spine of the city that you think it is. But I do think it's a great experience for the first time that you are in Chicago. Start off at the river and walk north up Michigan Avenue.
Okay.
I just think, Crystal, your first time in Chicago, just walking Michigan Avenue with the tall buildings, some of the high end stores, walk it all the way up to a mall that isn't as robust as it used to be called Water Tower Place.
Yes.
Walk from the river to Water Tower Place. You're going to pass the Wrigley building where they made the
Famous.
newspapers. You're going to pass so many cool, iconic buildings just walking that. You're going to get I feel like you're going to get a feel for the city. Now, after you've been there a few times, I think Wabash Avenue or State
Yeah.
Street really is where the locals hang out, and you get more of a feel for the quote city of Chicago. But man, your first time, nothing more iconic, I think, than Michigan Avenue. So that
Oh,
was
yeah.
that was my number 5. Just walk Michigan Avenue.
Well, and you're not giving it its true justice, Joe. It's the Magnificent Mile for
The
a reason.
Magnificent Mile.
So yeah, definitely hit. Yes, I have all fives, no notes. Yeah, definitely the Magnificent Mile, which kind of hints on my number 4 because you mentioned going down Michigan. My number 4 is you have to visit that Starbucks roastery, which is right down by Water
I've
Tower
never
Place
been there. You and
also.
I talked about this
You
before.
have to go. They only have what, like 4 or 5 in the world,
In the world.
and it has like 4 or 5 floors, and it's just it's an experience. It's a curated experience too. I
What
mean, you
does
can
that
walk
mean?
in.
Like, what do you do at a
So
roastery?
right, so the first floor, it's think of a Starbucks kinda like a museum kinda on display. Like you walk in, there's this huge like brass dome tower, and it's showing you how the sausage is made, but bean style. Like there's beans going down chutes and through. It's almost like an Imagineer, like a Epcot for Starbucks. So it has like a gift shop on the first floor, but it also, like, of course, there's people making Starbucks drinks and foods, but it's telling you the history of Starbucks. There's different like Chicago curated like history. It's even like a museum rolled into it. And then you go on the next floor, there's escalators and there's a really cool staircase also. And then there's something different on the next floor. Like one floor is food only. Another food, I want to say it's like talks history. There's another floor with the alcohol, and they have like a whole experience
Really?
too. Yeah, where you can
Really?
get like a flight. You can get
Coffee
it comes
flavored
with,
drinks?
oh yeah, espresso martini. Hello, that's one of my faves. But you can do like they have these you can pay for like an experience of like they'll tell you about each cocktail, and they do a food pairing also, of course, if
Wow.
it's in your budget. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's an entire experience. And on each floor is something totally different. You can see from floor to floor. And it's just the coolest thing. You have to see it for yourself because you would have a glossed over look in your eyes when you walk in because there's just so much to see, so much to take in. And it's you will come out buying. I'm not a Starbucks drinker, but I came out with a cup and it was a super, super cute cup.
If you want a great podcast experience, Howard Schultz, who was the creator of Starbucks, not the original creator, but he truly was the guy that made it huge. Charles Schultz joins the team at a business podcast called Acquired, and he walks through the history of how they built Starbucks. And that was the first I heard of the roastery, which, Crystal, was literally a week before you told me I had to go to the roastery in Chicago. I'm like, I just heard about this thing last week. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's an experience for your entire senses because, of course, coffee is the smell. I love the smell of coffee.
Me too.
And it gets you in with the nose and then your eyes just overload.
He talks about, if I remember this right, it is one of the least profitable things that they do, but it also is a Starbucks defining experience as the leader in the coffee category. And not even the leader, but he made a great point. In America, he and Starbucks created a new category, which existed in Europe, the coffee cafe, but a coffee cafe with a takeout window, even in Europe, was unheard of. So the fact that, we went from this coffee in a can that was kind of an afterthought to having coffee made 5 million different ways right down the street in any town in America almost now is this whole new thing. And what was incredible was they asked him on Acquired about competition and about if he worried, when all these other places show up. Like now we've got all these local places. After we record today, I might go to one called the Stain Page, which is like this bookstore and coffee shop. It's really, really neat.
Clever name too.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it's in downtown Texarkana. So great place to hang out. But it kind of riffs on the Starbucks theme. And Howard said, initially we did worry about it. Like we thought, oh no, they're going to take business. But you know what's wild, Crystal? He said that because they created the category and people that go like you, I'm not a coffee drinker, but they will go to a place called the Stain Page. They go to the Stain Page when they're in Texarkana. But if I'm visiting Chicago and there is no Stain Page, I go, well, how do I get that experience? But away from, I'm just going to go to Starbucks.
Yeah.
And so he said the competition actually has expanded the number of people that go to Starbucks, which blew me away. They're creating new coffee drinkers all the time.
I could see why that one does not make money because honestly, like people are there with their families. Like you could tell it's a touristy kind of place, but there were a lot of people in there, and you could tell they've been there for a long time because you can spend a lot of time just on each floor.
Yeah, he insinuated, I don't think he used these exact words, but I think the insinuation was So if Starbucks is the creator of this category and their goal is to love coffee, we need to be the people that show you different ways to love coffee. And that's what the roastery's meant to do. My number 4, you already talked about earlier, Shed Aquarium
Okay.
is it's the first thing I did as a kid when my parents took me to Chicago. Every time I go to Shed Aquarium, I see something new that I didn't see the time before. It is now for me, it's like a warm blanket
Mhm.
because it feels so homey. And yet it's so interesting. And the staff there, if you go and you watch them do some of the feedings that they do
Mhm.
around the aquarium, so put that on your schedule and you hear them teach you about the fish. I never really internalized that stuff, but I love being there. Like, you know what I mean? 4 hours later, I don't remember what the hell they're
Oh yeah.
doing,
No. What was
but
that
hearing
you
their
looked up?
passion and how they do it and the different ways that animals feed and animals interact with each other, just Shed
Mhm.
Aquarium is great. You know, the zoos might be on
Oh
your list. They
yeah.
didn't make
No.
they didn't make my list, but the Lincoln Park Zoo just on the north side of town is kind of their smaller zoo. There's a bigger zoo further out, but the
Brookfield.
Lincoln
Yeah.
Park Zoo is fun. That the Lincoln Park Zoo made my honorable mentions, Crystal.
It didn't make mine, but yeah, I don't know why I always forget about the zoos because that's a great place also to take a bunch of kids. Like
Yeah.
that is the perfect place. And even going back to the Shed Aquarium, the dark, like the glow in the dark fish, that's something I will never
Oh,
forget.
that's so neat.
That's one of my top favorites. So even if you want to cut a corner, like you can't see it all, see that part too.
Absolutely go see that. You know, on the zoos, and the reason why I didn't make my top 5 is Lincoln Park Zoo is a great tiny zoo, and I believe it's free.
Yeah.
The bigger zoo is not free, but I think the Lincoln Park Zoo is free. The gardens around it are beautiful. It's fun to walk, but the reason it didn't make my top 5 is it's not one of America's best zoos. And there's so many things that are uniquely Chicago where the Lincoln Park Zoo is good and it's fun. And hey, if you got time and you're in the area, yeah, go. But it didn't make my top 5 because Shed Aquarium is one of the top aquariums
Mhm.
I've ever been to. And I've been to quite a few. Walking Michigan Avenue gives you the
Yeah.
feel for this
You're in the
uniquely
city.
American Midwestern city. Yeah.
Yeah, you're in Chicago.
What's your number 3?
Number 3, okay, this is controversial because I'm from the South Side, but I would say you have to, if you can, if it's season, get a Cubs game because Wrigley
Oh, a
Field.
Southsider.
Yeah,
So
I know.
for everybody that doesn't know this, Southsiders don't say go to a Cubs game. So
They
this
will
is,
not, they will
yeah.
not. It's such a big the crosstown, classic, the argument, and it's funny because back when the White Sox won the World Series not too long ago, they still couldn't sell out a game, but a Cubs game will be sold out. Like, it is guaranteed to be sold out. So, the area, Wrigleyville, that even, the stadium is in, is a cool area. It has a great history too, and it's funny because the White Sox stadium is on right on Lakeshore, not Lakeshore Drive, it's on Soldier Field is on Lakeshore Drive, and it's on the Dan Ryan is what the White Sox stadium is in, and it's cool. It's a newer stadium, way newer than, the Cubs Wrigley Field, but it will always sell out. Sorry, White Sox fans, but I would say if you like baseball and it's the origination, Harry Carey gave birth to Take Me Out to the ball game.
That's
So you
right.
have to sing that song in Wrigley Field. That's what you have to do.
There are 2 iconic baseball parks. If you're in Boston, you got to go to Fenway Park if you like baseball.
Oh,
And to your point, if you like baseball, you got to go to Wrigley Field.
yeah,
And
yeah.
what's weird, and I think you know this, Crystal, and our adventurers might not. Uh, I've been to every park but 10, but
Oh.
but Wrigley, I've been there, but with an asterisk. Because when I worked for American Express, across the street in the outfield, there are a bunch of houses that I used to think were just houses and people would stand on the roof. These aren't houses. These are owned by companies. There's a bar on the first floor, bar on the second floor, bar on the third floor. And then on the roof, there's stands. And American Express, when I worked for them, bought one of these. And you go out behind the stands and they had a full concession stand, but you just walked up and told them what you wanted and they gave it to you. I mean, this is the power of a big company. But so I haven't been in Wrigley Field.
Tisk.
Well, but Crystal, I've done this thing that nobody's done. I mean, nobody has been on these roofs. Very few people have done the roof experience.
I want to do it. Oh man, I mean, it sounds great. So it's like if you're in Chicago, all the way there, as a local, maybe. But if I'm there, I'm going inside. I'm stepping these feet. This foot's going inside of this.
Well, it was a free ticket with free concessions, which can run a family a lot of money. And so American Express was paying. I'm like, hey, let's do it. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's
my number 3, which I think is really important. You know, cities are known for different things. You talk about baseball. There's something about baseball in Chicago, especially if they're playing the St. Louis Cardinals, right? Those teams hate each other. That's an iconic stadium, an iconic matchup. When you think about Chicago, I think another thing you really think about is music. And I think number 3 on my list, and this is kind of like you in the museums, Crystal. You go to Chicago, you visit a museum. I didn't pick just one because I've been to 4 or 5 different ones, but one of the jazz clubs in and around Rush Street. Go see jazz live when you are in Chicago. Not a maybe. If you like music at all, jazz clubs in Chicago. You know, the nightlife in Chicago, some of the other types of music, industrial music was born in Chicago. Some of the iconic, there's an iconic hip hop Chicago sound that you get from Chicago. So from just hardcore electronic music to all kinds of different music, but jazz and Chicago. It's just like, you know, blues in Memphis, you know? So my number 3 is go to a jazz club on Rush Street.
Yeah. And even Rush Street, this is funny. These are so many different versions of Crystal because College Crystal would be in the Rush Street area. But yeah, there's just a lot to do in that area also. Like Rush Street also is a vibe. Like it's just because there's a lot of people also. There's a lot of activity. And then even going back to the music too, House of Blues is another classic place to go just to say, hey, I saw it, or because it's by Marina Towers. You've seen Marina City. You've seen those iconic towers.
These round towers right on the river that go up.
Yeah, so that'll take you to that iconic building. Even coming up, the House Music Picnic is coming up. The Chosen Few DJs. There's the Blues Fest, Jazz Fest. So see if you also are in town during one of these fests because they have a fest, Gospel Fest. They have a fest right there in Millennial Park that used to be Grant Park or same name. So they have different fests like almost every weekend in the summer. So check to see which fest. Like the biggest. So check to see what fest is happening the weekend you happen to be there. That's a good one.
You got to, you know, there's great theaters.
Yeah.
You can do theaters in New York. You can do theaters in a lot of different cities. Chicago theater is pretty damn good. But again, theaters didn't make my list, but jazz.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. What's your number 2?
My number 2, I know you have this is probably higher on your list, but it's the Architect Tour, like the Architectural River Tour. So you definitely have to like Chicago is known for architecture. So that's another thing, but it's like you feel like you're in Italy. I felt like I was on a gondola in Italy. From seeing the city from the water is a totally different city.
People wonder which of because there's 2 tour companies that do the architecture tour. People wonder which one to take. I think, Crystal, I've been on both of them. I think they're interchangeable. They're both really good.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that there were 2 different ones.
Yeah,
just pick one and go with it.
Amen. Yeah, don't worry about which. Am I doing the best one? They're both really, really good. And the architecture tour, to your point, might be on my list.
Yeah, see, I figured. And they also have knockoff tours which they well, not knockoff, but they do there's a tour where you're on bikes pedaling, like one of those kind of tours. They do the little you can kayak now on the Chicago River too. I keep saying I'm going to do that, but I haven't done it. It's right on the Riverwalk. So that's another thing. You can also, while you're doing that architecture tour, you can do one of those others before or after.
We talked about earlier Michigan Avenue, the Magnificent Mile being the heartbeat of the city and just walking it. But I also think that being on a boat on the river
Yeah.
also shows you the other heartbeat of Chicago, because Chicago's so organized around that river and there's so many stories. To me, the architecture tour wasn't so much about the architecture as it was the stories of the city and some of the companies
Yeah.
that have come there. And, you'll point to one building and there's a story from the 1920s, another building next to it, a story from the 1970s, another
Even
building.
18. Yeah.
Yeah, the 1800s, right?
1800s.
It's crazy.
I like
My
that.
number 2 is my favorite museum,
Oh.
maybe of all. I think it is of all. My favorite museum on earth. I could go to this museum over and
Oh.
over and over again. It is not in Millennium Park. It's actually close to the University of Chicago, so it's a little bit removed from a lot of the rest of the city. The Museum of Science and Industry, from the iconic 1930s train that is in the opening when you first get there,
Yeah.
to the coal mine, to the huge train set, to all of just the all the last 200 plus years of American innovation,
Yep.
all in this museum. And as a guy who likes business and likes science and likes engineering, I just think the Museum of Science and Industry hits all my buttons, Crystal. It is an amazing museum. And
Yeah.
another one that it is not to be taken lightly. This is, again, a full day experience. Get there when it opens, because it gets crowded.
Yeah.
And you're gonna run out of time. Like, you're gonna run out of time.
Yeah, growing up, that was my dream job, to someday work at that museum. That was my first time on an airplane. Like, they had a big, huge model of one of the first airplanes that you get to walk on. So
So great.
that the old town, they have an area where it's like streets from way back in the day. I mean, yeah, that just unlocked a whole bunch of other memories. We would go to that museum, like my big brother would take us, and we would spend like you get lost. Like, you don't notice you haven't eaten yet for the day.
Right.
Like, none of that stuff matters. That's a cool, and it's cool because also a lot of the locals too, we used to have picnics and we would meet behind the museum, and you would find your people that were doing a picnic also behind the
Oh, it's a
museum
beautiful, shaded park
campus.
setting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And there's
just
like some
gorgeous.
kind of a koi pond and like the little rock. I used to get so scared hopping from lily pad to lily pad. They have these big, huge stones where you can hop in the water, and it's scary. It's a path through the water. I used to get scared every time, but it was not even deep water.
I
It's a
like,
good one.
the last time I was there, and it's been too long. It's been maybe
Me
8 or
too.
9
All of
years since
them.
I was there the last time, but they had a house that was made with all kinds of up-to-date features,
Ah.
in my house, I now have the Hue lighting system, but I first saw it
Ah,
at
the
the Museum of
museum.
Science and Industry. And so the lights, they would simulate evening and morning and daytime. So you
Yep.
can wake up with your lights coming up slowly. You can, when you watch a movie, the lights change to be around the movie.
Oh,
At night, you can have soft music come out. Like, the whole house was automated. They would even have blinds that would open
IoT.
and close depending on the time of day, to keep heat outside,
Mhm.
keep it cool inside in the summer, or keep it hotter in the winter. They had a drainage system on the roof of this house where everything would go into these buckets, so it would capture rainwater, and it would then use that in its sprinkler system. So
Huh.
then the cost of the sprinkler system, which was also, they had solar panels on the roof, the
Of course.
solar panel ran the sprinkler system. So your net cost on the grid was zero. capturing rainwater and capturing sunlight. Just fascinating. All this quote it wasn't even house of tomorrow. It was all stuff that you can buy today.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
To make
I'm
your house
familiar.
sustainable and cool and automated.
The Internet of Things, that's that technology, the IoT, that's what it's called, where everything communicates with each other.
It's so neat. And my house is always halfway there.
Mine is not. It's so tiny.
It doesn't communicate like it should.
Everything from here. Okay.
All right. Number one. Man, I got goosebumps, Crystal. What's your number one?
Well, my number one is a thing. It's deep dish pizza. We have the biggest argument about, and a close second, Chicago's thin crust pizza is also amazing too. So you have to go. You can go to Giordano's if you want one of the big names, or Illuminati's. Those are the bigger names. I'm a Giordano's girl. Also, Pequod's, but that place is hard to get to. But that's one of the local places.
I wrote down, if you're a tourist, my favorite of the big tourist spots is actually Gino's East, I think.
They specialize in the thin crust too. That's another good one. And then but I'm still Giordano's for the deep dish. I'm getting hungry now. See, just the mention of deep dish. So you have to have, people say, oh, it's a lasagna. I don't want to eat pizza with a knife and fork. Shut up and try it. I love it. It's a casserole, whatever you want to call it. It's pizza. It's a pizza pie. So you definitely, I would say, deep dish pizza.
Deep dish pizza made my honorable mentions list. It didn't make my top 5 because of the fact that I just don't love deep dish pizza like you do.
Okay.
Being a Detroit guy, I never knew there was such a thing as Detroit style pizza until I moved away. And then all over the country, you got these people serving Detroit style pizza. And I was like, what the hell is Detroit style pizza? And then I had it for the first time in Austin, Texas. And I'm like, oh, this is Shields pizza. Wait a minute. This is Buddy's pizza. Wait a minute. This is, and I went, holy crap. We do have Detroit style pizza. I just never knew it was Detroit style pizza.
Thing.
I thought of it as these different places in town, but I don't love deep dish. I like it. And if I'm going to Chicago, of course I'm going to have it. And again, people, there's the fight, Crystal, you were talking about, Gino's East is okay, but I like these other places. I almost think as an outsider, you can almost go to any of them again and you're going to have a great Chicago experience.
Yeah, I agree.
Although when you dig in later on, the food scene in Chicago outside of the touristy area, pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yes. And they take the pretty off the walls, quote unquote, and you really get the good food. That's when you know you're at a great place. Because I can even talk about Mr. Beef and Italian beefs, like if we're going on the food, a hot dog, all that stuff. But I wanted to focus.
Oh, Mr. Beef.
On,
I forgot about that's from
the show The Bear.
Yeah.
So Mr. Beef is also, and then Dick's Last Resort. That's the restaurant where they insult you. It's pretty hilarious. It is very funny. Like the last time we were there, they made these dome paper hats and they would put like, oh, this one's the idiot of the group. Like it gives everyone in your group a nickname, and they do.
Wait a minute, Dick's Last Resort is all over the country. Was it born in Chicago?
I've been going there since I was little, like very little. Like,
see, the place I went to in Chicago where they insulted you and it was there for a while and it was gone and it's back. It was Ed DeBevick's.
Yep, that's another one. And Dick's, they have bras on the bar. That's one of their signature things.
That might be more of the adult experience, or maybe Ed DeBevick's is the family experience. I don't know.
Maybe that would have to be it.
So we are overdue for our gear of the day. By the way,
we should have done the number ones, both of our number ones after the break.
I know. So I will give you mine, which is not. I mean, Crystal already said that she thinks, So I think we know what my number one is. But you and I both have a long list of other things to do, so we'll cover those. But halfway through today's show, so it's time for a road trip pit stop. That's where you're dreaming about what's at the end of the adventure. This is actually closer to the end than it usually is.
I know, we are.
It's a hint at our gear of the day. You'll see past gears of the day. What we love about this segment, Adventures, is that this is gear that we have used or our guests have used. This is badass stuff. There's so much stuff. In fact, in our Facebook group, the Facebook community we call the Clubhouse, I asked about some gear that I'm not sure of that will not be in gear of the day, because some of these pillows to take on planes, Crystal, just look horrible. Just one looked good and one looked really, really, really bad. Yeah. So this is all tested stuff. But Crystal, you've got today's gear of the day, and you've got a hint.
Now it's hard to even hint at it. Okay. This thing, it doesn't need Wi-Fi. Fits in your carry-on. It helps you remember more than just the selfies. Let's see. It goes well with your passport, but it's something that's gonna, helps you remember more than just your selfies.
Helps with more than just your selfies.
It's something small, super easy.
I think I know what it is. Don't tell me.
Okay.
I will give my guess right after the break here.
Okay.
All right, Crystal, you said this gear of the day helps with your selfies. I think I
wouldn't say helps with your selfies. It helps you remember more than just the selfies.
Oh, well.
Remember
more than just your selfies. Remember.
What was that? That was from You Don't Know Jack.
You Don't Know Jack. Remember the clue. Okay. I'm going to go with, it doesn't help you remember. You know, my initial thought was it was one of those stands that props up your phone so you can do pictures if you're traveling solo. That is not it. Helps you remember selfies. It's going to be some sort of one of those online bookmakers, where you can take your pictures and you can make physical books of them. I like those, and I never do those enough. I've done it.
I've never done that.
I have done it once, and it was fantastic. And I said, I'm going to do this for all our big trips, and I'm just going to put them on a bookshelf so we can take them out and just flip through the books. Haven't done any of it.
Which trip were you moved to do one for?
I just did a very simple trip that was out east. We were just visiting the East Coast, Charleston and Myrtle Beach and Savannah. And I just did one of that trip thinking I was going to do them all the time. Haven't done another one since. So I think that might not be it, because you said you've never done it, but I'll stick with that as my guess. That might end up as a gear of the day later. All right. My number one, we already talked about, and I'll just get it out of the way. It is the architecture tour. I think this is the number one thing to build your trip around. If you don't know what to do, you don't have enough time to do anything, do the architecture tour first. Everything else we talked about on this, walking Michigan Avenue is my number 5. This was number 1 because I feel like with somebody explaining to you about the city and about some of the history of the city as you're relaxing on this boat, you go out into Lake Michigan, you see the whole skyline, you take pictures, then you go up the river separates, it goes to this Y, you go up both parts of the Y, see an iconic post office, you see buildings where one group of people have this phenomenal view of the city, and then another developer built a building right on front of it. And all these people ended up wasting their money on these, what they thought were going to be great views, and didn't end up with the great views. You see the Marina Towers that you talked about. Yeah. A great story around the Trump Tower, whether you like or dislike our president, it is a great story about the Trump Tower. Yeah. So many stories. One of my favorites, I'll just leave one of them. You go by the Montgomery Ward building, which is an ugly building that's concrete. Do you know the story of the Montgomery Ward building?
No.
So it's this concrete building, and has these concrete these concrete edifices on all four of the corners of the building as it goes up. Truly just an ugly building. And you wouldn't even think anything about it if you didn't know the story. But when Montgomery Ward, this old catalog company for our young people in the audience, they might not even know what Montgomery Ward is.
Wards.
At the time, it was a big company, and the CEO, as they were designing their new building, he was sick of all the infighting among the junior executives. And as they built the new building, they were talking about, I get the corner office. No, I get the corner office. No, I get the corner office. So, Crystal, they built this building on purpose to not have corner offices because the CEO was trying to help everybody learn we're a team.
Wow.
So that building has a great story. But
that is a great, wow.
Well, take that story, and you've been on the tour. There's 50 of those.
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
All right, time for our the
Oh.
ones that didn't make the list that you really like.
I would say definitely make sure you do the bean, like in Millennial Park. Buckingham Fountain is over there too. Like if you want to see from Married with Children, the big, when the music comes up, see Buckingham Fountain. It's beautiful at night. Like it is very beautiful at night. And this would even coincide with any kind of like jazz fest, blues fest, like Taste of Chicago. Even NASCAR. NASCAR is there 4th of July weekend. If you can get down there when NASCAR is there, head explodes.
It's crazy. The streets of Chicago, they're racing cars.
Yes, that's another, like, if you want to time a trip, based on something big, I would time it around NASCAR.
That's
and you're
neat.
going to get some pretty decent weather. It's going to be hot, but
Midwest hot. So in places like Chicago, where Crystal, you grew up, or Michigan, where I grew up, generally you're dodging 2 weeks a year where it's nearly unbearable. But considering it's unbearable the entire summer in Texarkana, like you just roll the dice a little bit and hope you don't get one of those 2 weeks when it's bad. One from mine is we talked about the architecture tour from Getting on a Boat. I'm taking that. But another great one that didn't make my top list, but I love it, is do one of the sunset cruises. Go out onto Lake Michigan on one of the boats, watch the sun go down over the tall buildings. It's a great time with friends, with family, romantic trip, whatever you want it to be. The sunset cruise didn't make my top list, but I think that's a great one. I haven't done it, but I've had lots of friends that have done it and have said it's a wonderful, well worth the money that you pay.
Well, that's a good segue too into Navy Pier. They have fireworks also. So if you're doing a night sunset cruise and then you're cruising to Navy Pier, that'll be a good place to end because you can get on the wheel. Like, every city now has some kind of a pier, but we had one of the first piers. I feel like that might be one of the first. And so that's another iconic and a cool walk. If you're in the mood to walk, you can even walk from the river walk that's right on off Wacker Drive, where we were talking about the Marina City and all the other stuff, maybe where you may get it on and off of one of the tours, the boat tours. You can walk from there is a path to walk from the river walk to Navy Pier, and they have shuttles and stuff like that too, if that's
so
needed.
This brought up two things that I put on my list to mention that I think I like the wheel at Navy Pier because you've got that iconic skyline. And the skyline against Lake Michigan is so cool. And because Navy Pier juts out into Lake Michigan, you get this great view of all the tall buildings going up the coast. So I like that. I think, though, if you spend a day or a lot of time at Navy Pier, you are wasting Chicago time.
Yeah,
do not spend a ton of time at Navy Pier.
Agree.
Like that is walking to it is cool. Walking through it is cool. Getting on the wheel is cool. The rest of Navy Pier, in my opinion, overrated, waste of time. Don't do it. The other thing it's overrated.
Tour. Oh, but they do have special events. Like they had this wine event one time at Navy Pier that was worth it to go to, but you're going there for a reason. Like,
yeah.
That was
and it's a great, if you're going there for an event and you're at this event and you're looking back at the city or out into Lake Michigan, like it's the perfect place for one of these events. So if somebody invites you to go to Navy Pier for a thing, go. But if you're just going to go, you're going to see Bubba Gump shrimp, which you can see in any damn city in
Agreed.
America. It's so, gross. The other thing that's gross, a Chicago dog. I love hot dogs, Crystal. The Chicago dog sucks.
Oh
You don't
no,
put
you put ketchup.
tomatoes on your dog. Like, what are you?
What? What are you?
I'm not a Chicagoan because the Chicago dog sucks.
Disagree.
Well, you can be wrong.
It's funny. So I love to heckle, by the way, at the baseball games, and so I like to yell that, like, if depending on how close I am to the batter, to say he probably puts ketchup on his hot dogs.
I do, but you've known me a long time, Crystal. I'm 12 years old at heart.
Yeah.
What
agreed.
else is on your didn't quite make the top 5 list?
So this one is this is back to food and rooftops. There are a lot of cool rooftops in the area. Like one of them is called Raised Rooftop. It's like an urban bar rooftop, but it's not really that urban, but it's a whole experience also. Even just walking into the hotel, like on the first floor, it looks really cool. Then when you get, dinged up to go to the penthouse, that's a cool one. The London House, I actually stayed there one time. That has an awesome, beautiful rooftop too. Prime and Provisions, they have a very good happy hour. It's a steakhouse. One of the best Manhattans I've ever had in my life. I don't know what she did that made it so special, but it was delicious. Maybe it's because I was in Chicago. I don't know, but that's another good one. The Dearborn is another very good place to eat. All local places. I think that they've even won an award. The Beatnik is right off the Chicago River, and Chicago Cut Steakhouse is another one that's right off right on the water. And what I love about Chicago Steakhouse, we always sit outside, and I wave at every boater and every tour group that walks by. Like that's also fun because Chicagoans, they're gonna wave back, they're gonna yell back, even if they tell you to shut up. Like it's a cool vibe of just being I love being on the water, like in the city.
That's wonderful. Speaking of restaurants, by the way, because going to a Chicago steakhouse made my list. You think of Chicago. I mean, Chicago is known, right, for all these trains, even, the ones from Fort Worth, the stockyards down 2-3 hours from where I live. They would put all of these cows on trains and take them to Chicago. So Chicago's known for steak. Like if you're going to get steak, what better place to get it than in one of the, and by the way, there's a lot of them, as you know. Speaking of Millennium Park, if you're going to be down by the park, which both you and I recommend, a couple of the restaurants that I like, Crystal, that are right by the park. If you're there in the morning, there's almost always a line at a place called Wilderberry. And this is pancakes and breakfast. It's a little bit expensive, but it's quite a Chicago experience. Some great foo-foo coffee type drinks that with more sugar added to your coffee than you can imagine. Whipped cream on everything. Like Wildberry is a good one. And that is just on the north end of the park. So just north of the Art Institute. And then just west of the park, down about halfway down the park, is a restaurant called The Gauge. And The Gauge is in a gastropub. So think hamburgers, but in a little bit more of a high-end setting. So casual food served in a nice atmosphere. Those are two of my Millennium Park picks for restaurants. But there's Chicago. There's so many damn restaurants.
There's so
Crystal.
many, yeah, because then it brings me over to like Chinatown area before you get over there.
I've never been.
Okay, yeah, there's a couple like classic Chinatown too, where they cook. You cook the meat right at your table. Not hibachi. It's one where they have the little grills at every single table. That's another. And that.
Do you cook it yourself, like a Korean barbecue kind of place?
Yes. Yep. That's exactly what it was. Yep. And so that they have those in the Chinatown area. Man, I know that unlocks so many other corridors of the city, like Roosevelt, like 12th Street.
But I think that's your second,
Park.
third, fourth trip to Chicago. You begin exploring the neighborhoods.
Yes, true.
Because
Agreed.
Chicago's not just about downtown, which is where all of our top 5 was, except for science and industry, which is a little ways removed from downtown, but everything else is close. The exploring the different neighborhoods,
Yeah.
and every neighborhood has its own feel, its own special, like some of the Polish neighborhoods.
Oh yeah, Chicago is very segregated too. There are a lot of like highly segregated areas, but it's like you are also immersed in the cultures too. Cause yeah, the Polish community, one of my best friends is Polish. So yeah, I've been into some of those places and yeah, they just have so many different like areas and communities in different areas of the city. And Black Yacht Week is actually happening soon. They have that once a year. It's like they have so many different festivals and so many the Printers Row Book Fair. Totally forgot
Oh,
about that.
there's a big one.
That's
That's an
another
international event right
yeah,
there.
yep, so that there's another, cool thing if you're lucky enough to happen to be in Chicago, or you wanna plan book lover, you can plan a trip around Printers Row Book Fair too.
I don't know how many more you have on your list, but one that is definitely for your first time to Chicago, but didn't make my top 5. And I'd love to get your take. So on North Michigan Avenue is a very iconic building called the John Hancock Tower. And then closer to the train station in an area that it's kind of having a revival around what we call the Sears Tower. For a while, that part of town, besides the Sears Tower, there wasn't a lot there. But
No.
last couple times I've been there, there's more eateries opening up there. There's more stores opening up there. It's called the Willits Tower now, but Krista will tell you that everybody still calls it the
Yeah,
Sears
Sears
Tower,
Tower.
formerly the tallest building in America, but still one of the tallest buildings. But John Hancock has an experience on the top floors.
Yeah, the
The
signature
Sears
room.
Tower also has one. Which one do you do? Because I don't think you do both, Crystal. Do you do John Hancock or do you do Sears?
So the thing about Sears, Sears has that tilt thing. If that's your thing, that is 100% not my thing. I would
That's
not.
not mine either.
No way, Jose. Like you couldn't
So the
pay
tilt
me.
thing, you actually,
No.
you're on a floor and they tilt the floor so that you're out kind of leaning
Yeah.
over the city.
No. No, thank you. No, no, thank you. Like I don't even want to go up that high.
I
So
get
I
vertigo.
would do, yeah, I wouldn't like I've never done either. Like I've not wanted to. But the signature room I've heard amazing things about. If anyone wants to take me on a date there. Yes.
Oh, the signature room is a club where you have drinks while you're
Yeah.
up high.
Yep.
Is that
It's
in,
view and that's in the John Hancock.
that's in John Hancock?
Yep.
I've only been to the observation floor. I've never been to the signature room.
Ah, yeah, the signature
What a
room
great
is
date night
fancy.
thing.
That would be.
That is cool.
Yep.
All right. That's all that was on my
Yeah,
list.
I
Taking
don't
a baseball game was on mine, but you mentioned that earlier. What else do you have?
yeah, I think that's about the Oak Street Beach is another like iconic kind of thing to see because a lot of people don't realize like you have this big lake and there's beaches all on the lake. So if you want to have a beach day, you can have a beach day in Chicago. So there's beaches along 31st Street on the south side, Pier 31. That's a new restaurant, and they do house music. They do different theme night of music every night. Well, not every night, but most nights too. So there's Oak Street's north side,
House
Pier
music, by the way,
31.
born in
Oh,
Chicago.
yeah, yep. So you can almost hear that probably almost every night, but yeah, so you can have a beach day, and there's restaurants on the beach, there's volleyball, beach volleyball, all kinds of stuff on the beach. I wanna say Oak Street Beach even had a one of the first crunch fitness, like one of the first outdoor crunch fitness places, so there's a lot to do, like, even, like,
Boy, that's
exercise-wise.
hardcore in January.
Could be.
Out-
Chicago
Outdoors.
doesn't close. You will find someone barbecuing, grilling 365 days of the year in Chicago. Like it's always grilling weather, grilling season.
It's
Never ends.
negative 10 degrees,
Oh
winds
yeah.
howling, and somebody's on the grill.
Firing up the grill. Yes, definitely.
All right, adventures. Those are Crystal and my top 5s and a ton of honorable mentions. But you know what's next? We want to hear your Chicago,
Exactly.
and I know you've got them. What
did
are
we
your
miss?
favorite things
Because there are
to do
there
in
are areas
Chicago?
we totally didn't we totally missed a lot of areas.
There's
Fill
50,
us in.
1,000 things. I can think of 3 already that I did not mention
me too.
that I think would be great. But what are yours? How do people leave their 5 minutes of fame to be on our adventure show part 2 of Chicago?
Yes, please head to stackingadventures.com/mystory or voicemail, however you want to type it in, whatever you're feeling, wherever your fingers land on the keys. We want to hear from you. So my story, stackingadventures.com/mystory. It would be my honor and our pleasure to hear from you.
And I'd love to hear you call in and tell Crystal that I'm right about the Chicago dog. Because that thing is, I'll take a Seattle dog. Seattle dog is good with cream cheese on it.
And don't put chili. I'm not a chili on the hot dog person.
No, you're a communist if you don't like a chili dog.
But
what are you
onions,
talking about?
raw onions, yes, please.
Yes.
There we go. But not chili.
Raw onions, chili, and
Not
ketchup.
No, there's already tomatoes. Or peppers.
No tomato,
gosh.
no pepper. Get that crap off my dog. You should
Fresh
gross.
peppers.
All right, time for the Gear of the Day reveal. You said this helps you remember your selfies. I said it's one of these keepsake books you can make from a few of the different places online. I know I've got an Apple computer and you can make one right in your photos area and Apple will send you the book. What is it though, Crystal?
Well, yeah, that's close. It's one of a travel journal. So you can keep track of everything. And that'll be good too for if you come on our show. So that way you'll say, oh, it's just how we booked. It's just a really cool way to just document your trip, curate it, and just have it ready to go. Because how many times have we come from a trip and it's all discombobulated? You want to give a cool recap, but you didn't, keep it going along the way. And because I like to do it too at the end of the day, I would do a Facebook Live showing what I bought for the day. And so that was a cool way to, wrap up my day. So if you, just jot down everything you did during the day before you go to bed, journaling is a thing, before bed. So that's a cool thing.
Cheryl likes doing those now for the blog, for the Stacking Adventures blog, and we've got some cool posts coming out because every day, and I think she doesn't even do it for the blog. She really just likes journaling.
Yeah, it's the coolest thing. And then to read other people's, I was listening to another show that talks about what we spend, and so it's cool to just hear what people spend. Like for us, though, for our audience, of okay, I went to this trip. Here's what I spent.
That's what I like about today's adventure show is that some of these things are free. Some of them are very expensive. And so you can kind of choose your own adventure and you're still going to have a great time in Chicago. Spend very little money, spend a lot of money. That's up to you and your taste. But man, something for everybody in Chicago.
And people watching. You can sit on the Riverwalk and people watch. Oh my goodness. Talk about Netflix has nothing on people watching.
You're going to see some people. All right, adventurers, that is it for today. Find our Gear of the Day and the travel journal that Crystal likes at stackingadventures.com/gear of the day. That's a great one. That's a good one.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, you got your mission, stackers. Tell us about Chicago. She's Crystal.
And I'm Joe. He's Joe.
We'll see you next time as we're taking this show off the road.
Exactly.